Thank you. To paraphrase a late great friend of the festival and also Béla Tarr, he's one of those filmmakers who makes this an interesting time to go to the movies. Please welcome Béla Tarr.
I'm too shy for this. Okay.
You got a microphone you're sitting on.
Yeah, no.
Let me start off with a few questions, then we'll turn it over to your fans here. First question. Talk a little bit about, in terms of your career, from the time that, gosh, we first met a long time ago when you were presenting Free Pawn, The Outsider, at Rotterdam, and sort of the various stages till, I guess, Damnation, and then, of course, finally up to Turin Horse. Talk a little bit about how you see your own cinema having changed, developed during that time.
That's true. We know each other since 1980. Do you know? Oh. From the beginning. You know, I was 22, and I was fed up with the cinemas. And I loved the cinema. And I didn't like it, the movies, because the movies were always fake. Bad actors, bad dialogues, bad colors, and always just storytelling. And I just wanted to do something which is beat you and punching you to show that life is different. That's all. And that was the beginning. And of course, time to time, one film generated the next one. And how I became older and older, I was thinking more and more deeper. And of course, the style moved to became more slow, more concentrated, and more pure.
I think of Damnation as being a real turning point. Do you see that as well? And what was it about Damnation that made it perhaps the turning point, at least I think it is?
Surely not. Can you believe I go to bed Sunday night and waking up differently Monday morning? No. If you see the whole stuff, it's one line. The Damnation, it was the first time when we involved more the landscape and more the time. But it came from the others.
Talk a little bit about, you've developed over time some incredible collaborations with your editor, Agnes Chernitsky, with Fred Kellerman, with, of course, the novelist and screenwriter Laszlo Kazsna-Horkály. Could you talk a little bit about working with them and your relationship with them over time?
You know, you cannot do a movie alone, of course. This is not my movies. We did it together. And I like to work with the same people. I like to work with the same crew because they know me. And it's not necessary to talk a lot, not necessary to speaking, not necessary to explain anything. We are just talking about the life. And I'm working with Agnes since 1978, with Mihai Vig, the composer, 1983, with Laszlo 1985, and Fred was my student in Berlin since it was 1990. You know, it's really looks like a family, or really looks like a good group of people, and we are just always really just talking about the life. the concrete situation. Fortunately, we never say any word about the art or some artificial things. That's all.
I think especially with the more recent films, there's always been a discussion of the relationship of your work to great Hungarian filmmaker Miklós Jancsó. Can you talk a little bit about Jancsó and perhaps back in those days when you were first seeing movies, what his movies were for you?
I love him. Now, he was 90 on the last week, and he's still fresh. And sometimes we were drinking some wine. And, you know, he is a really, really strong guy. He was a revolutionary guy, and he was only one Hungarian filmmaker who had his own style. He had his own language, and he was the man who shows us the first. The film is not a story. The film is not full of banalities. The film is really picture, movements, and a lot of things. And I grew up on his movies, and I love them very much.
Who has that phone ringing? Sorry.
No, you should.
That's right.
You can wait.
That's taken away. Just turn that off.
Okay, anyway, Miklós is a great guy, and fortunately he's still alive, and he's full of energy, and that's what I can say.
Have things changed? I mean, talk a little bit about, again, working in Hungary. You obviously worked under communism, you worked in the era right after communism, and of course there's a somewhat new regime in there now. Talk a little bit about that.
What can I say, man? It's a damned country with a bad history. And this is a shadow which is always coming back. And look at the history of all Middle Europe. Full of nationalism, full of aggressivity, and it's quite sad. Of course, the communism, it was a strange system, but we survived. And this time it was the censorship of the politics. And afterwards came the free market, which means the censorship of the market. And now, I don't know what we have now, because we don't see any sign, because since 1.5 years, nobody shoot any frame, and the whole Hungarian film and the whole Hungarian culture is stopped. And we don't know what the politicians want, but what I see now, they don't want this kind of Hungarian movies anymore, and maybe they will build up a new one, which will be much nicer.
Are there plans?
And more human, you know, and more touchable. And you know, it could be better. Why not? Do you know Mr. Andy Weiner?
I've met him, yeah.
Yeah, he is a guy who was a producer of the first Rambo movies. And now he is responsible for the whole Hungarian movies. That's all. No.
Let's get some questions from all of you. Yes?
I heard this film that we're going to see is your last. Why did you choose?
Let me just repeat the question. This viewer says he's heard that Turin Horse is going to be your last movie. Why is that?
Okay. Yes, seriously, this is the last one. In a very simple reason. When you will see the movie, I think you do not ask me. But before, I could say only one thing. I really don't want to repeat myself. I talked today, Nick from the New York Times, we were talking about this. You know, the filmmaker is a nice bourgeois job. I can do 10 or 15 more movies. I can repeat myself. But I don't want to do. I don't want to make copies, you know. Just to making something, just to making for the money. No reason. I respect you, and I respect my work. And I have a feeling the work is done. the house is ready, and no reason to do anymore. Really. Packed. Yours. We created it. You can take it or leave it. That's all what I could say. This movie. We just wanted to do a very pure, very simple, very minimal movie about something which is very universal. And I cannot do more. Of course, I can, if I want, but I don't want. That's seriously. And I want to protect my work from myself too.
Will you continue teaching, and how has teaching affected you?
No, I just wanted to create now a new film school in Croatia, in Split, which will be something which is not a real film school, something where some experienced filmmaker could meet with some young filmmakers, and they can develop something together, something which is fresh, new, full of energy, you know. And of course, I counting with some friends who will come and teach, and that will be an international film school. Everybody will come around the world, and I hope it should open next September. That's my new job.
Yes.
Your films have so much about human nature in them, and we live in a world where nature has been so disruptive of the ecological conditions of the world, let alone the economic conditions of the world. The power of cinema to show us that human spirit in an almost a Brechtian way that's in this film here. Is there any role that cinema can still play in this new world that we live in?
There's still a role for cinema in the kind of creation of a projected new world.
You know, in my opinion, the film is not a part of the show business. The film is a seventh art. And all of art is a part of the human nature, because some people has to react for the world. And how they are reacting, it could be a kind of art. And I'm sure the cinema never die. I'm sure the real filmmakers will do it always good reactions, and they will say something which is moving you or touching you. And of course, we will protect it till end of our life, the human dignity and the dignity of the being. I'm not talking about only the human dignity. And I'm sure about the film is really always important for the people, because the people are me.
Yes?
I would like to know about the connection of Fassbinder in your work, how much it influenced your movie making.
Questions about the connection of Fassbinder to your work?
Yeah, I love his work, and I have to tell you, I respect very much what he has done. But it's not you know, what is the situation? Every good filmmaker has his own style, own language. You know, everybody has a different cultural background, historical background, and different budget, you know. And of course, different language. Everybody has a different point of view. And that's the reason why we cannot influence each other, because he has his style and I have my style. Of course, I see how beautiful what he has done. And I see and I love, but I cannot follow him, because my reaction is different. But anyway, he was great. But I can tell you some more great directors too.
Yes.
One of the things that stuck with me most from Turin Horse is when they're eating, and they only have...
Don't forget, not everybody.
Okay. Okay, they have so little. They have so little food, but yet they waste half of it when they're eating. And I was wondering what your thoughts or feelings were about like human consumption and just taking things from the world and what will happen.
Shall we talk about these things after the screen? It's not fair with the others who cannot see.
Yes.
But I will tell you, I promise.
I'm sure you're asked this question all the time, but I'll ask it anyway. Why do you continue to shoot in black and white?
Questions about shooting in black and white.
You are right. I hurt sometimes. Okay. Not always. I did it some color stuff and I had a feeling I can say something to you with the colors. For example, in the Almanac of Horror, we use it a lot of, we did it a dramaturgy for the colors. But when I'm doing, I had a feeling since 20 years, 25 years, better if I'm doing black and white, because I can hide it more in the black. I can put a spot on the with the white, or I can use it the grayscale. You know, it's for me more colorful than the color. But anyway, you know, the other problem is now with the color movies. You know, from the middle of the 80s, they changed the film material. Until it was celluloid, and now it's polyester. And if you see now, these plastic colors, the blue is too blue, the red is too red, and the green is too green. But, you know, one hand is very naturalistic, but the other hand is very artificial. And I do not feel, well, this is mine. I can paint it better with the black and white, and when you see a black and white picture, you see immediately this is something which is creation. It's made by someone. I don't want to pretend you what you will see it's real.
Right now at the festival we have a program called Views from the Avant-Garde, which is running concurrently with all the other programs. And your work, I think I would dare to say, is among the few films and bodies of work which I think means a lot to this current generation of avant-garde filmmakers, experimental filmmakers. I'm wondering what you see as your relationship to that work, to that tradition. I guess, you know, in the U.S. people embodied from everyone from Stan Brakhage and Maya Deren, or in Hungary, I guess, Gabor Bodi and people like that.
Of course, I like very much the avant-garde movies, much more than the studio movies from Hollywood. But, you know, some of them are touching me, and some others are just some very narcissistic scenes, you know. Sometimes this is my feeling. But for example, I know well that Gabor Bodi's work, and he was a really great man. You know, he committed suicide in 1985. But what he has done, I think it was very important and very human. But sometimes I have a feeling when somebody over-created something, in this case they lose the human background of the film. That's my feeling a little bit.
Yes, over here.
Hi. I've never had the pleasure to watch any of your films in a movie theater. I've seen maybe half a dozen of them on streaming or on DVD on my computer.
Don't do begging.
What's that?
don't do beg you. No, it was made for the big screen.
I agree with you, but the thing is accessibility to this, and I don't have that accessibility maybe at a film festival like this.
Push him.
We'll push you later, right?
All right.
My question is, all right, so we're in the midst of this golden age of digital, and now a film artist has an ability or has the potential to connect directly with his audience. There's no middleman almost. So if someone can actually create their work, and someone, with your body of work, would attract an incredible amount of audiences directly to your website or whatever it is that you're projecting from. How does this change, the game as far as your opinion is concerned, as far as an artist, staying true to his voice and having a direct relationship with his audience?
Seems now, of course, with digital, an artist can get rid of the middleman, the film distributor, even the film exhibitor in a way, and market directly to the consumer. Do you think that changes the game plan in any for an artist like you or for cinema in general?
Sure enough. I don't think this is the right way for the distribution. I can believe the film became an exclusive, very elegant, special event for the people like when they could come and watch the movies at galleries, which is called film theater, But I think the film, it's really always 35 millimeter celluloid tape with barefoot, And that's 100% true. You can do a lot of things with these digital stuffs, and if you are an artist, I can believe you create a new language with this digital stuff. And we should call it, this is a new media, or this is a new art, and we have to respect. Don't forget, I was a really big fan of the mountain bikes stuff. What was it? At the beginning of the video age, and because he was an artist. But I really don't care when some distributor just counting the money from the box office and give it a piece of shit for the people, which is called digital picture. The digital picture never has the same quality than the 35 millimeter celluloid. That's 100% true. And the real filmmaker will touching always the 35 millimeter film.
Is it important that a lot of people watch your movies? Is it important?
Is it important that a lot of people get to see your film?
Sure. But up to you. If you don't like, you have to leave.
Will you, in your new film school, exclusively work in celluloid?
I really will. Yes, of course.
Yes, in the back there, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
A question for the question. What gift or what ability separates great filmmakers from others who are good but not great? What is
The question is, what would you think is the quality that separates a good filmmaker from a great filmmaker?
I really don't like to judge him. I'm sorry. And I don't want to judge him. Because your question is forcing me to say, okay, you have to go to right and the other has to go to left. No, this is not the way how I'm thinking. Really not.
Yes, next to you.
I'm just curious, did you ever see Thomas Vinterberg's The Celebration?
Wondering if you had ever saw the film The Celebration by Thomas Vinterberg.
This is a Danish dogma stuff.
Yes.
Okay. I have seen it, but I don't remember much of it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm wondering if you can discuss your approach to sound, the way you use silence, and then also compose music.
Question about the use of sound, especially the use of silence, and also, I guess, music. Your work with Michael Vick.
When you do a movie, everything is important. picture, casting, landscape, because they are main characters, you know. They have face, and the music has face too. One of the main characters, and that's the reason I like to know before the shooting. For example, I asked it, may I, okay, go to the studio, doing the music, and let me know when you are ready, and then we see it together, we can hear it, and we decide, okay, we will take it this. And good to know before the shooting, okay, I want to use this music here, and I can, you know, I have to know the main character, one of the main characters. And then afterwards, very simple, you know, and the whole movie is ready. We are doing all of noises and all of sound in the studio, because we cannot use it, the original sound. For example, when we did it, the Chagantal, the original sound, it was full of the noise of the rain machines. And always full of it, my sound when I'm screaming, okay, now slower or faster, or, you know, that's what you can. When we did it, the Man from London, you know, when we shot it, Tilda was screaming English, Krobot was screaming in Czech, and the girl was Hungarian. You know, it's.
So the sounds from the natural world, is that you do in the studio as well?
Yes. It's artificial.
Why?
Why? Because we cannot use it the original sound. And I like to do kind of creation. I like to do. I enjoy very much, you know, recording the knocking, the steps.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you get asked this quite a bit, but I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about how you came to the decision to start structuring your films in a series of very long and broken takes.
Questions about your use of long takes. When did you start working in that fashion, and why?
If you remember from my first movie, The Family Nest, there is also long monologues. Also long. And just maybe the way of the film, it was a little bit different. But I like the long take because when you do, you have a special tension. You know? You can feel it well, the presence of the actors. You can feel it better, the personality of the actors, you know, because when we are doing the casting, I'm never listening for the story, and I don't care about what is the character of the film. I'm listening who is this person in front of me, who is his or her personality, how she or he reacting for the other people, what can I see on their eyes, you know, and if I put them in front of the camera, and we're just creating a very normal, very natural and very human situation. In this case, they just being. They are not acting. They are there. And you're just haunting them. And you can get a lot of real emotions. You can get a lot of scenes. A lot of scenes. And the other hand, you know, if you do a long take, you have a long take has maybe 5 short takes, because we just started with the close-up, and then I move and I have a wide picture, and then I'm going closer to the other things, and then I'm opening again. You know, we are cutting, we are just cutting in the camera, not on the editing table. That's the difference. You know, the Godard said at the beginning of the 60s, the real film director is cutting in the camera. I was only one stupid guy who follows his idea. He didn't.
Yes, sir.
Your films have a very immersive quality, and as an audience member for your films, I was wondering how you think of the audience in relation to your films. Are they more of a spectator or a participant in the action?
Your films have a very immersive quality. They kind of really surround you. Do you think of the spectator as, or as the audience member, as just a spectator or as a participant in some way?
For me, you are my partner. I do not think you are participant or you are just observing something. No. You know, my biggest problem since the beginning, when I was watching the movies from my childhood, I had a feeling all of studio films are looking me like a kid, you know. They want to entertain me, and they want to tell me stories, and I am not curious about this. And when I'm doing a movie, when I'm thinking about you, I believe you are an adult man. You are very intelligent. And I have to do my best for you. Because I need your respect. I need your attention. And I cannot get if I don't do my best. You know? And this is a big difference. I have to do my best. Because otherwise, you know, and this is how I think about you when I'm doing. And I don't want to give to you a stupid hamburger from the fast food restaurant. I want to cook you a beautiful, homemade, handmade dinner.
Thank you
In
for
a
having
very
me.
familiar way, you know, and very personal way.
Yes, Jeff.
You participate in the opening of a film in Europe or in Hungary. Do you follow the distributor? Do you kind of lead in to certain cinema to play or to certain festival to play? Or you just,
Are you involved in the release of your films, both, I guess, in terms of festivals and also in terms of the distribution around Europe or other places?
I can't do physically possible, you know. I'm going since February. I'm on the way, and I see my schedule till middle of December. And I don't want to tell you it's more than a hour. And I'm going always just if I have a special reason. I came to here because this man and this town is too close to me, and I said, okay, I have to come. But I came yesterday evening, and I leave tomorrow. And, you know, physically impossible to check every distribution. But in Hungary, my company distributed, and in this case, I knew what is happening with the movie. And as I see around the world, some good companies handling, and I trust them. I'm not worried about this.
What advice would you give to emerging generation of filmmakers? And if your films have been influential, what do you think their influence has been?
First of all, my advice, don't be influenced by anybody, okay? Me too.
Anything else?
You have to be free, you have to be yourself, you have to be brave, and you have to be more revolutionary than me, and have to say to me, let's go to the museum because you became too tired and old-fashioned and that's fine. You know, that's what I want. Please to be more stronger. Okay, guy?
People have, yes, you have
And I never give you any advice. I do not want to educate you than teaching you.
But perhaps you'll welcome him to your film school.
Let's see. If he has the same question, I'm not sure.
Time for just a few more. Anybody has a question yet? Yes.
You expressed some unhappiness with Hollywood, and I was wondering if that extends to the whole history of Hollywood filmmaking, or if you had any admiration for maybe Golden Age Hollywood films or anything like that.
Questions, you mentioned some things about, I contemporary Hollywood, of your displeasure with it, but are there figures from Hollywood's past, the golden age, who interest you as filmmakers?
I'm not filmmaker anymore. I'm just a viewer. I like very much the Hitchcock movies, but don't forget how they treated Hitchcock. Okay? And I love Griffiths. Of course, I'm a big fan of Buster Keaton. And I can tell you some really nice things which it was made on the West Coast. But I really don't know what is the Hollywood, you know. Maybe just a nice hill. With a lot of bad tasting houses.
Yes, sir.
I'm just feeling still a little itchy about your comments about filmmakers, the real filmmakers always having contact with film that have struck us. So many of the filmmakers that I care most about, you of course being among them, Bedar, David Lynch, Winterberg, Chris Tucker, Lars von Trier, so many of these, in my mind, great filmmakers who I live with, have done marvelous and important, I think, important work with video. And I even believe that if someone had said to you at some point, you cannot shoot film, here's a video camera, and you can only use this video camera, I'm quite convinced that you would have made a film that would be amazing. I don't think it's about tools, I think it's about your mind.
No problem. What I said, okay, do it. But don't call it film. You should call it video, or you should call it motion picture. Doesn't matter how you should call it. We are just playing with the words. No, it's not. I'm just telling you what is the film, what was and what will be, and do it. Use it. Use everything.
Yeah.
Use everything.
But
Just
for
to be
many of
free.
us, we're not going to have the options of film. I can't even get Polaroid back on.
Yeah, that's also what it's a.
Yeah.
Okay, Béla, thank you so much for coming.